Awesome. I am officially live on YouTube. Now, let me go ahead and share this to my Facebook. How do I share this? When I close my eyes and think of you. That was a good one. All right, let's do this. Okay. YouTube, are you all love it? Love it. Hey everybody. I just my bad. I should have told you guys. I was getting my Facebook set up. So let me know if the replay if you can hear me well. If you are live, put it on. Let me go ahead and go live on. Oh, wow. I didn't even post the link. I didn't even post the link, you know. All right. So when at the time. Why is this asking me to schedule this? Oh, here we go. Hopefully my phone does not like die on me. Hey everyone. Happy Monday, y'all. How are y'all doing on tonight? I am live on YouTube and Facebook as well. If you guys want to catch me over there to be more interactive, but hey, I am down with Facebook. I mean, Instagram. Here I am. I'm just confused with my darn channels. Anyways, y'all, I'm super excited about this live because I'm going to just share some of the gems that I received from the Time Leadership Conference that really resonated and stuck with me that I wanted to share with you guys. One, this time conference, y'all, just like increased my faith on another level again, and that's why it is super important to go to these type of things. It's super important to put yourselves in rooms where you are elevating, where you are growing, because our minds need it. Sometimes we need to increase our faith by the people that surrounded by us. Okay, so let me just go ahead and invite some people to the call and get started. Okay, because I am ready to drop some of the gems. So while that's going on, let me know where you all are tuning in from as I am sending out some of the invites. I have to have the instrumental on because I'm not gonna get banned. YouTube will ban both the copyrights. All right, y'all. Hey, Millie. Hey, girl. I thought about you and I was like, I need to do this live. But okay, I see my people are on my YouTube here. All right, everybody here. All right, let's get into it. And also, y'all, if you're catching the replay, hashtag replay this because y'all are not gonna want to miss out on these gems. So hashtag replay this and share it with somebody that might receive some value out of this. It's crazy because I was in the car and I was like, let me just revise my notes. And I went over them and I'm like, wow, there was massive gems that dropped. And it's so crazy because as I was just repeating the things aloud, because I was reading it to Charles, like a lot of the things that I was learning, as I was repeating it to him, it like increased my faith even more just by reading it out loud. And again, this is why it's important you put yourselves in these rooms, okay? So first, one of the first breakout sessions. So how the conference went is there was breakout sessions and then there was general sessions where they were the big sessions in the full sanctuary. But the breakout sessions were individual where you got to pick and choose what sessions you want to attend based on what needs and what areas in your life you feel like you need to grow. It was a leadership conference, so they had a lot on leadership, a lot on business, a lot on managerial things, a lot on being a CEO, just a lot of everything, even a lot on being a better parent because being a parent takes leadership. Having a team takes leadership, okay? So the first spot that I went to was 10xing my business. Of course, I wanted to go there because it was business related. And also, again, I felt like I needed something to inspire me. And for me, I personally get really inspired when I hear the testimonies of other people's journeys, right? Not necessarily the steps needed to be taken, but I get really inspired by how everything came together in the end with all the work that was done, the faith and the effort that was put in. So I get inspired by that. So the guy who was doing the 10x business breakout session, his name was Doug Ryan. That's all I can tell you about that. But I can share a few things that for me stood out, not even stood out, but what I needed to hear. Okay. So the first thing was setting up a daily schedule for yourself, a daily routine. For me personally, y'all, I love routine. I am a routine, routine girl. I need a routine and I need a daily schedule. In order for you to be successful, you have to have a routine and a daily schedule. But why that was important for me is because I don't know. I feel like my routine has been a little off lately, but I also want to change my routine because one of the things we've been talking about in church is changing our patterns so that we have better, so that we can have the ultimate product that we want. So we want to change our patterns so that we can change our product. Okay. So if you don't have what you want, you got to change that pattern. Okay. So for me, I said I need to get up earlier. A part of my daily routine needs to be waking up at least an hour earlier. My alarm usually goes off around like 7:20, y'all. I like for y'all to hold me accountable, okay? So my alarm usually goes off at 7:20, and that's me getting up. But I want to be able to get up an hour earlier, an hour and a half before that, maybe 6 a.m. to where I'm getting in my workout, my Bible time at an earlier time. So having a daily routine. The second part, having discipline. I pride myself on discipline. So when my routine is off and my discipline is not intact, I kind of get frustrated. So having discipline is super important. This was what stood out to me. It says, would you rather be self-administered or would you rather the world administer discipline to your life? Would you rather be have self-administered discipline or would you rather the world discipline you? Right? It's just like the example of speeding if you're driving in your car. You have to have discipline enough to say, I am not going to speed, okay? But if you are going to speed, would you rather be disciplined by law enforcement? So you have to have self-administered discipline. Would you rather have self-administered discipline or would you have discipline administered to you by the world? Okay? Um Massive action. We love massive action. You know, I was in the car just now, just thinking. All I kept thinking about was to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. So when you are expecting things, y'all, and I'm a big dreamer, like I have goals that are so massive that there's no way I'm going to get them done by myself. Like it's going to have to be a God thing. But that takes action on top of prayer, on top of your thoughts. You have to apply. So, to whom much is given, much is required. You have to take necessary steps. Are you going to take that course? Are you going to read that book? Are you going to find a mentor? Find that person that you can learn from. It says that you know that quote or that saying that knowledge is power. Yes, knowledge is power, but it is applied knowledge that is powered. You have to apply the knowledge that you have, okay? But you do have to go out there and get the knowledge. Hey Dom, hey girl, hey Charles. I got Charles Ingram, I got Dom on the call. All right. So yeah, that was great. Applied knowledge is power, not just knowledge. Okay. So apply the information that you learn. Go out there and seek knowledge. I love knowledge. One thing about me is that I am always seeking something to teach me something that I can later apply. I'm always seeking something that will help me grow in the future. Okay. Because to whom much is given, much is required. And it's going to require you to intake that information and apply it. Okay. Another thing was, do you consider yourself average? Right? When you think about it, in the most of the world, in all of the world, we are actually average. But do you consider yourself average? Right? How do you wake up and how do you consider yourself? So it says that he who walks with the wise will become wise, but the companions of fool will suffer harm. Okay? And I'm gonna go back to save all the lives are saved, girl. Okay. Yeah, but it's gonna be saved. Um uh okay, so this one was more business related, which I thought was very powerful for me because when I have that team that I've been praying to God for, when I get that team, I'm gonna need to know out of my team who are my top workers, who are my middles, and who are the people that just gotta go. Okay, when you have a team like a lot of people do, if you're a manager, if you're a CEO, if you have people that you manage, you have to know and identify who your strong people are. Those are the people you don't have to micromanage because you know once you tell them what they got to do, they're going to get the work done. Then there's the people who are average in the middle. They do the work, but they don't go above beyond. You keep them, they get the job done. But then there are the people who they don't help you. They don't help you reach the goal, help you reach the numbers. You can't keep those people along. You just have to have tough skin to let them go. That's that. All right. Another thing was it really doesn't matter where you start the race, as you cannot do anything about that. What really matters is how hard you work to finish the line, right? It doesn't matter where you start. I feel like that's a big problem and an issue that people suffer from is they feel like they're either too late. Like I should have started a year ago. I should have started 2 years ago. I should have did this 3 years ago. Oh well, you didn't. So start now. You just have to start now. Okay? Doesn't matter where you start. You just have to start and you just have to keep going. Okay? Commit first, figure it out later. Okay? Commit first and figure it out later because that's where we fall short. We try to figure everything out. We try to have all the plots and the plans together. And then once it's all together, we decide to then move. It don't work like that. Y'all, I was just reading my book, Draw the Circle. And it said that y'all be wanting God to move, but y'all don't make no moves. Like, how can you have faith if you're not making any moves? You have to have faith is an action. You have to move, okay, in order for God to move. All right. So now this was like the business stuff. So now, hold on, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I didn't leave anything else out. Okay, well, Okay, this was also good. This was for me because I was like, hold on, let me get my priorities together. It says everything that doesn't get done is because it's not a priority. Everything that does not get done is simply because it's not a priority. So if you find yourself having these tasks or to-do lists or whatever it is that you want to do to accomplish a goal, a dream, a vision, whatever it is, if it's not getting done, you just haven't prioritized it. So you have to shift some things around in your schedule, in your time to prioritize the things you want done. So I had to tell myself, like, clearly that wasn't a priority to me and I needed to get it done. So I'm not treating it like a priority. So the things that you know are a priority and have to get done, they just have to get done first. Okay. So now let's get into the nitty gritty of it all. Okay. So I was just reading some of these things and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, come on, snatch my neck up with this stuff because these principles that they spoke about were good. Another thing, another tip that the guy said was he uses this acronym QTIP. Quit taking it personally. One of the four agreements is to not take things personally. QTIP. Quit taking it personally. Okay? Um, and then after I went to this segment, I went to the segment that was about having undesirable conversations. I want you to put a number one in the chat if you struggle with having undesirable conversations, if you struggle with having the hard conversations. If you don't struggle with that and you are like, I'm gonna have these hard conversations because I need clarity, put a number two in the chat, okay? Because I like to see where my audience is at. Do you struggle or are you just like, I got to get this out? Okay. One, if you struggle, two, if you don't. Okay. I'm gonna wait and see. I want to know. Because that was one of the segments I went to was having undesirable conversations because I have to get better or increase my skill set when it comes to communicating with when it comes to having undesirable conversations. Okay, 111. I feel you too, Millie. I'm on the 111 side too. Okay, all right. I'm on the 111 side. So here are some practical tips and some tips that were so helpful in having these undesirable conversations with people, rather that be with a friend, a spouse, a team member, somebody you're working in a closely with, it doesn't matter, right? The one thing is, of course, practicing self-awareness. You have to one be aware of what's going on. You have to also ask yourself, like, were you a part of it? Did you cause this? And just being self-aware, okay? Because you can't do that if you're not self-aware and you're automatically coming with a defense, okay? One of the things they talked about that I thought was important, it was when you're about to have this conversation, you want to approach the person by telling them, like, hey, I would love to have this conversation with you, or hey, I would love to meet up with you because I want to have a conversation with you about this situation. So that both parties are aware of what they're about to talk about. So you're not blindsiding a person with the conversation. Okay? I was like, wow, that is so insightful. Thank you for that tip. Okay. Then you want to ask questions. One thing that they emphasize is that you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers of why somebody might have treated you a certain way or why they might have done something wrong on the presentation, why they didn't submit an assignment on time, why they were late. You don't have the answers. So you can't make assumptions and assume why they did something. You have to ask questions. Okay. Also, it says be transparent and share relevant information. You don't have to share things that doesn't need to be shared, but you do need to be transparent about why this thing happened. Maybe you're in a team and you're expected to turn in an assignment on time by Friday, and they didn't turn it in on Friday and they turned it in on Monday, right? You need to ask them, and if somebody asks you that question and you're the person that didn't turn the assignment on, you need to be honest and transparent as to why the assignment was not turned in on time. Truthfully, the assignment was not turned in on time because I was procrastinating and I waited to the end. Truthfully, the assignment was not turned in on time because I had this issue come up. Truthfully, the assignment wasn't turned in on time because I honestly thought it could wait till Monday. I didn't know it was that serious, or I just didn't prioritize it, or I didn't take it as serious as you do. You have to be self-aware, you have to be transparent, and you have to be honest. Okay. And then another thing they talked about was explaining your reasoning and intent. I love that. They said if you're going to ask a question, you can state the reason for asking the question. I'm asking you this because of this. I'm asking you this because of this. State the reason why you are asking the question. Okay? And we know about making assumptions. I remember my high school teacher told me this, and I always stuck by this. Making an assumption is making an ass out of you and me. That's what an assumption is. You are making the person look terrible because of what you're assuming. And then if it's not factual, you just made yourself look crazy. Okay? So we don't make assumptions. Okay? And then yeah, discuss the undesirables. So now, okay, now these were just the mini breakout sessions for what I felt like I needed for myself. Um, keeping short accounts, okay, handling things right away when the time happens rather than waiting. Just doing it at the moment when it happens, rather than saying, I'm gonna wait till Monday to talk to this person, unless the circumstances is for that. So like if you're emailing somebody on a weekend, clearly you're not gonna see them till Monday. But if y'all are at work and this situation has occurred, just make short accounts by just bringing it to the person's awareness immediately. Okay. Um, and don't pretend it's not happening if you can't let it go. If you can't let it go, don't pretend it's not happening. Have the undesirable conversation. Okay. Um, and then yeah, okay, that's that. Now we get into the guru himself, John C. Maxwell. So John C. Maxwell is someone that I listened to so much during 2019 to about 2021. Like all I was trying to do was learn about all leadership, 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 leadership. So John C. Maxwell was one of those people I listened to. So to be able to hear him in person and be in that vicinity where he was teaching about the thing he teaches best, leadership, to help us was just incredible, y'all. So I was going over the notes of some of the things he spoke about, and I'm still mind blown because I can see myself on that way when I'm going to share it to you all. And second, I'm mind blown because it's so easy how when you hear things that are mm, like conducive to your growth, it just makes you so excited. So the first thing he talked about was that everything rises and falls under leadership. Leadership takes accountability because as a leader, people are following you. So that takes true accountability to be a leader. Okay? So one of the things he says what leaders do or what leaders need to do in order to be successful is that they need to see more than others see, and they need to see before others see. Okay, that blew my mind. We're going to say it again. You need to see more than others see, and you need to see before others see. So, what does that mean? That means your vision has to be big. It has to be big to where people are talking about it, or if whoever you disclose it with, they might be like, you crazy, or I don't even know if that could really happen, or wow, like that's crazy for you to be thinking that large. The vision has to be big. And when you have big visions, when you have faith, knowing that God could come through with this, it don't make sense on paper right now. Look a little scary, but you have to see more than others see, and you have to see before they see it. The same way that the iPhone was made. Steve Jobs made the iPhone. He had the vision for this. It was very big. He saw this before other people could see it. He was able to see more before others. Okay. Mike Zuckerberg with Facebook and creating this social place on digital social place where we can connect. He was able to see bigger. He was able to see before, and he was able to see more. All right. So the goal is to see more and more before. See more and more before. And the thing about that is the only way that you can start thinking more and the only way that you can believe that there is more for you is that you truly have to believe that everything starts with abundance. You truly have to believe that there is a more than enough in this world. You truly have to believe what God's word says about that he can bless you more than you can dare ask, think, or even imagine. You have to believe that big. But if you don't believe that there's abundance out here for you, then you can't see more and you can't think before. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay. Does that make sense? So it says that um certainty that can't be tested can't be trusted. So it says that you can't develop it says you can develop a process to find more and more before. So this is the success cycle, and the success cycle gets me so excited because I was talking to Charles about it. I'm like, I'm on the success cycle. Like, I feel like that's probably why I'm not even stressed because I see things in a light, in a vision that God will do things in his own timing. Like, I am not about to rush God because he is going to bless me when he blesses me. And he's already blessed me. Okay? So the success cycle, there's a cycle to leveling yourself. So the first is testing. Are you testing things out? Are you testing an area in your life? Are you testing? Okay? Are you trying new things consistently? Are you testing? Right? Secondly, if you're testing, that means you got to be failing. Are you failing? Are you testing and are you failing? If you test five times, you might fail 2 times. If you test 100 times, you might fail 30 times. If you test 1,000 times, you might fail 300 times. But you have to be testing in order to elevate. So you have to be testing, you have to be failing, you have to be learning a lot, and you have to be improving. And as you do those 4 things, guess what happens? You move to the next level. Testing, failing, learning, improving, next level. Testing, failing, learning, improving, next level. Testing, failing, learning, improving, next level. Hey, that is it. So if you find yourself in this success cycle of testing, okay, of you trying new things consistently, of you failing at these things and trying again and failing and trying and learning and taking information in and applying by testing and improving yourself, improving your body, improving your mind, improving your thoughts, improving your relationships, you are entering into new levels. That's it. Put yourself in places and with people that will inspire you to see more, and to see before. Remember, the vision's gotta be big. Like, the vision's just gotta be big, y'all. Okay? Testing, failing, improving, next level. Yes, say that. Okay? We on a success cycle. What do you mean? We are going up. It's levels to it. There's levels to all of it, okay? So now it says, put yourself in places where people will inspire you to see more and to see before, where people who inspire you to dream big, to live big, people who are doing way better than you, people that are in a higher tax bracket than you, people that are in a higher leadership role than you, people that are more fit than you, people that whatever you want more of, you need to be with people that are higher than you in that aspect. Bigger people make you think bigger. Better people make you think better. Okay? I was like, that's it. That's it right there. Now, keep going. And this is why it keeps cycling. How to get yourself into the people pit. How do you get yourself into a people pit? And the people pit is being around influential people. How do you get yourself into those rooms? How do you get yourself around those people, even though you're not there yet? Right? The first one is you got to be prepared. You got to have some preparation. So whoever you're trying to be around, and I got my when I was in Florida. Oh, I don't know if y'all know quick for all my Florida people that's on the call, but Tracy Lynn. Oh, the day I met Tracy Lynn, I said, I need that lady as my mentor. Tracy Lynn got something for me, okay? So you gotta have preparation and an action behind that. So you have to ask yourself, what do I have to do that no one else is doing? Because I know there's a lot of people that want her to be want to mentor, like want her to be mentoring them. I know that there's a lot of people probably in her inbox. I know there's a lot of people that have asked for this thing. How can I stand out? Okay. Ask yourself questions that'll help you know. And one of the good things, another great thing that he said is ask people of influence that might, maybe they're not as high as you want them to be, but they might be connected to people that you might want to be connected to, or maybe you just don't even know. So it says, ask them, who do you know that I might know? Like, who do you know that I might need to know? You never know who you're going to get connected to by that. Who do you know that I might need to know? I want you to ask that. Who do you know that I might need to know? And that's that. All right. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is good right here. Okay. Okay. This one also says you got to increase your God room so that he can help you do those more, so that he can help you see before. Okay. You need space. All right. Between what you can do and what God can do. And that's what I just said. If you're not dreaming more and big visions, if this is something that God, if you could just do it yourself, like if you could just do it yourself, it's just not big enough, y'all. If you have to tap into the strength of God and the Holy Spirit to help you, give you the strength to do this, if you have to tap into the divine connections that God could connect you with and the people he connected you with that you had no play in, that's him, y'all. Okay? It says, don't confuse your gifts with who you are because your gifts were something that wasn't earned. It's something that was given to you. Because you can't separate the gift from the person. But there's people out here that have these gifts that are not using these gifts, or there's people that have these gifts that think that the gift is who they are. I'm a great writer, right? They might say that who they are is a writer, right? It is your profession. That's what you like to do. That's a great gift that you have. Now I'm gonna go into what Dr. Darius talked about because he done blew the wind off with what he had to say. The title that he had was When Prophets Get Petty. Because we all have a little petty spirit sometimes. But the reason why I'm going to talk about it, we have to identify these things. So it says that more of anything means more of everything. Goes back to the scripture. To whom much is given, much is required. So don't look at things on the front end and not consider the back end. You don't know what the back end looks like for that front end to look good. So you want a bigger house, right? You know what that comes with? Bigger bills, bigger electricity bills. To whom much is given, more is required. You want a bigger team, a more successful business. Because if you have a bigger successful team and a successful business, you know what that requires? You having to deal with different personalities, you having to deal with coaching and training people. To whom much is given, much is required. You can't ask God for more and not expect to do more. The burden that you don't want to is the burden that you don't want to come with the blessing. The burden that you don't want came with the blessing that you do want. Think of all those big things that you're dreaming for. There's a level of responsibility that comes with those things. Okay? So you have to one, trust God's delay because God's delay is blessing us. We might not see it as that, but when you change your perspective to knowing that whatever that you are praying for God for or waiting on God to do in your life, this delay is blessing you because God is using this opportunity to cultivate you to the person he wants you to be. That's it. So you can't compare your blessings to somebody else's blessing or somebody blessings God. You don't know the back end of that blessing. You're only seeing the front. You might want children, but do you know the back end to having kids? You have to raise them. You have to have time for them. You have to be with them. You have to nurture them. You have to grow with them. You might want to be married, but there's a back end to that. You have to build yourself as an individual on top of being able to handle the pressures that come with marriage because you are one with another person. To whom much is given, much is required, y'all. Okay? So here it says that this is so good. Like you call for more influence, but that calls for more disappointing people, people that don't hate, people that might do you dirty. All right. So it says that does part of your assignment trigger something in your life? And this was good because they went to talk about the story of Jonah and they spoke about how Jonah was out here just doing all these things that God had called him to do. And then God called him to go to Assyria to speak and preach and give life to those people and turn them to God and away from the sins that they were doing because those people were out here killing people and shaming people by beheading them and then putting their heads on the fences for people to see. And Jonah was like, oh no, I ain't about to do that. And he didn't do it. So you have to ask yourself, are there parts of your assignment that trigger something in you? And so he had a petty spirit, even though he's already been doing all these things that God has been calling him to do. He's been so obedient to what God has called him to do until God asked him for an assignment that he did not like. Till God asked him to do something that he was like, for real, God? You really about to send me over there to these people that I don't like, and you want me to turn them to you so that you can give them grace and forgive them? I'm not doing that. I don't forgive these people. No. So then that is you identifying, okay, there's something in my spirit, there's something in my heart that is hard, that is triggering me from doing the assignment that God is calling me to do. Okay? So it says that there's two tracks that God uses to grow you. The first track is your active spiritual track. That is you exercising, spiritual guidelines. That's you getting in your Bible, reading your devotion, tithing, fasting, going to church, going to Bible study. That's you actively trying to grow spiritually. But then there's passive spiritual growth, and that is when God does something to grow you. He might send somebody in your life that agitates you or send somebody in your life to test you. He might put you in a position that identifies if you could actually be that leader because it's going to take some self-reflection or take some having undesirable conversations, whatever that may be. That passive growth is that hard growth. It's easy to do the active growth of the things that you can do, reading your Bible, fasting, going to church, Bible study. It's the passive growth that we got to pray for God to help us see us through in that time when God is doing something to us that we are not in control of. Okay? When I was reading my Draw the Circle book, like right before I got on this call, it had said, I gotta see this because it was so good. It had said that if we want God to move, we need to make moves. It seems like God isn't moving in our lives because we aren't moving. So we have to move. God will make heaven and earth move to honor your faith. And so I was about to write what it led me to do. I was like, I'm about to write all the acts of faith that I have done since being saved. Even before that, like I will sit and reflect on my life and I'm like, dang, God, like that is insane. You were in that moment. Or dang, God, me doing this, me doing it like in an act of faith led to this or that. So I was like, I'm gonna write down my acts of faith throughout my life, even from when I got saved in 2019, because my acts of faith got even bigger from there. Because now I know who to rely on and who my source is. Okay, so now we go to Ryan Leake. I love Ryan Leake. He always comes with the comedy, but he always comes with the wisdom too. He said that, and I read his book, and it's called Chasing Failures. I did that. I don't know. I think it was last year when I was in Florida. Chasing failures. It's so important that you're chasing failures because just like um John C. Maxwell said, if you are not failing, if you are not testing, you are not in that success cycle because you're in a place of stagnation. You're not in a place of seeing or being bigger or seeing bigger or growing. Okay? So it says that there's no form of leadership that's not risky. One thing that he said that was so important that we should take with us anywhere we go as leaders is that my way is not the way, it's just a way. So as a leader, we have to be open and receptive to what people have to say, other people's ideas, because your way is not the way, it's just a way. Does that make sense? Another thing he said was envision yourself winning more. Envision yourself winning more. Does that get you excited? When you can envision yourself winning more. Okay. Oh, I just got a little hot. All right. Next is mm, it says, "Ooh, this one was really good. Think about your breadcrumb column. And what is the breadcrumb column? Think about just all of your life and the people that you have been connected with that have connected you somewhere else that has elevated your life. Think about that breadcrumb column that has elevated your life, those people in your lives from middle school to high school to college to your adult life to these to where you are now. Think about your breadcrumb column. It can start from when you were a little girl, a little boy. Think about that. And then think about who will be in the room next year because of the risk that you take. Think about who you can help so that you're on their breadcrumb column. Okay? And then this was good. Failure loses its grip when you keep pushing forward. As you keep pushing forward, failure loses its grip. You can't fail if you keep moving. If you stop, then you have failed. Okay? If you stop, then you have failed. All right? So I just want y'all to take some of this information in. I've been on here for about 40 minutes, really probably talking for about 30. And I have more. I want to share more, but I don't want to share all on one live. I want people to be able to watch the full thing. So I'm gonna come back on tomorrow for part 2 of the leadership conference. Make sure you guys go back and watch this replay and drop some gems if you got some nuggets. And y'all, you need to be at the leadership conference next year because the gems were gemming. All right. So I hope you guys have a great Monday. I'll see you then. Twos. See y'all, YouTube. Thank you for joining.